are going to criticise King Lear based on the theory of liberal humanism. According to liberal humanism, good literature is timeless, can apply to any time at all.
Good literature does not have an agenda.
Good literature appeals to everyone, regardless of age, gender, sexuality and race.
Good literature is sincere and speaks the truth about the human condition. Why is being human different to being an animal?
Matthew Arnold's view in liberal humanism is based on the view that typical Englishman pursues one's own freedom to assert his own liberty. This perspective, applied to Edmund's agendas, reveals clarity in how his thoughts and actions are rather supported in the culture he's present in. The manipulation against his family was his way of seeking justice, encouraged by the mindset of asserting one's own personal liberty. His manipulation showcases this form of freedom and his growing selfish greed to redeem his status as more than just illegitimate. Edmund's agendas can be viewed as an act based on his morale of defying his character's prejudice. However, as the play progresses, rather exposes the result of Gloucester's negligence has led to fuel Edmund's destructive inner desires to have no more further competition of the British kingdom, to claim this kingdom as only his. To Edmund, this arguably could be his defining moment of justice that balances the hardships he has faced previously by being a legitimate son.
Shakespeare was clearly a Renaissance humanist, as his plays promote humanist values. He explores this within his characters as he uses realism and deepness to explore this. The most humanistic theme presented is parent-child relationships, especially with King Lear. Shakespeare presents King Lear as selfish and foolish throughout the play, as Lear uses the love auction to determine which one of his daughters will rule the kingdom, as he needs for acceptance and flattery. This decision results in the kingdom being destroyed, which is followed by Lear descending into madness as he banishes his most caring and loving child, Cordelia, because she refuses to participate in the love auction. This reflects the error in Lear's ways, as he allows his patriarchal and transcendent views to take over him, results in his daughter's deaths and his very own. The result of Lear's decision is a reflection of Shakespeare's humanistic values, as it shows that selfish actions can cause consequences, as this tragedy ends with good and evil characters dying. Had Lear only realised love cannot be found in flattery, his end would have not been so terrible. His insistence for flattery caused his downfall from a proud kingdom to a vulnerable naked madman. It also showed his reliance of love allowed him to rely on his two selfish evil daughters that had no real good intentions for him. This reflects liberal humanism, as it can be used in modern day literature, as the message Shakespeare presents can still be recognised to this day.
According to T.S. Eliot, poetry is not a turning loose of emotion, but an escape from emotion. Shakespeare represents different turns of emotion in his poetry. King Lear, the tyrannical king, speaks in blank verse in his first acts, perhaps to represent the chaos and uncontrollable nature of his fierce temper. Whilst this emulates his chaotic anger well, Shakespeare does use different forms to represent different emotions and moods, the famous fool character being a character type that was thought to be derived from the French drama Commedia dell'arte. Because this character is such a trope, audiences globally understand this character is used for comedic relief. Thus his dialogue juxtaposes the tone of a tragedy. The Shakespearean fool transcends the job title. Instead of being purely a staple of class, he instead lives to give a commentary on the lives of the main characters.
Has the ability to destroy, but animal being will not. The biggest difference between humans and animals is that animals can go with the flow and follow their own rules. Humans are not.
But human beings are the rulers of the law, but also the destroyers of the law. As Lear says, "It invests you journey with my power, preeminence, and all the large effects that trip with majesty. I will sail by a monthly course, with reservation of 100 nights. By you to be sustained, should our abode made with you by duties. The sway, revenue, execution of the rest, beloved sons be yours." Lear as a king, he gave everything he had to the two daughters who were not in the same position, just because he liked to listen to their good words. This is the root of the later tragedy. However, all of this in the drama of King Lear is almost always reserved. After the countess gained power, they did not respect their king. The king also exiled his half-veiled minister. The brother counted his older brother. The sister killed the young sister. The father suspected his son, and the son murdered his father. As the glossa says, unnatural, detested, brutish William was then brutish. He cannot be such a monster. That's the word he scolded his son.
To conclude, King Lear works in terms of the universal appeal of literature. King Lear recognizes the importance of human nature, which creates agenda, and does not rely on the message of agenda.
King Lear also represents different forms of poetry to express the different facets of human nature, rather than Shakespeare using the poetry to amplify his own emotion, meaning poetry is impersonal and, in liberal humanism, good literature.
King Lear can also go against liberal humanism, as Lear's greed and selfishness is influenced by society's view on how parent-child relationships should be valued. This goes against the idea of human nature.
The good literature tells the reader what the true nature humanity should have, and Shakespeare cleverly overthrew it and made King Lear realize how important it is. King Lear told us that the normal order of the country cannot be violated. When it is violated, it will be caused irreparable damage.
King Lear both supports and juxtaposes the criteria liberal humanism